If you're thinking that the side effects from the shot are worse than the COVID, or that you can't just take a chance, you're just dead wrong. Do it for yourself. Do it to protect those more vulnerable than you. Please, do your part. Give it your all through July the 4th. Let's reach our 70% goal. Let's go into the summer freer and safer.
That was President Biden today, outlining plans for increased outreach, education, and access, all designed to boost vaccinations in this country this month as part of a national month of action. The president announcing that his Vice President Harris, will lead a national tour to encourage people to take the shot, as well as community-based efforts like 24-hour vaccination sites, an initiative for Black-owned barbershops and beauty salon owners to become key vaccination advocates, and free drop-in childcare for parents who are getting the vaccine. Plus, President Biden, along with Anheuser-Busch, announcing free beer if we reach his July 4th goal of getting 70% of all U.S. adults at least partially vaccinated. The number right now stands at about 63%. Joining our conversation, Dr. Michael Osterholm, director of the Center for Infectious Disease Research and Policy at the University of Minnesota. Jonathan Lemire is still with us. Dr. Osterholm, how are you feeling about our progress and where things stand in this country, and whether it's sort of safe to stop feeling scared of resurgence?
Well, first of all, I have to say that I never imagined in my lifetime I'd be talking about the vaccinator in chief. You must give this president incredible credit for not only as from an administration standpoint delivering all the doses of vaccine they have, but not giving up on getting people vaccinated, even when our numbers are coming down. So from that standpoint, I really appreciate the leadership. As far as where we're at in this country right now, we really are, in a sense, somewhat of a tale of two cities. For the vast majority of us who are vaccinated, our numbers are coming way, way down. And this is incredible news. On the other hand, if you look at those people who are not vaccinated, and in a very wonderful piece done by the Washington Post a little over a week ago, they showed that among unvaccinated individuals, these are the ones that are still keeping the numbers up there, where we're still seeing 500 deaths a day. We're still seeing 20,000 cases a day. And so I think it just speaks to the fact that we have to continue to push getting people vaccinated. We have 8 states right now in this country that are less than 40% of the population has even received a single dose. And so we have to really concentrate in those areas, and that's what's going to keep us from seeing even local or regional surges.
You know, I've talked to this White House a lot about their sort of theory of the case on vaccine hesitancy, not the hardcore anti-vaxxers. And they've always believed that it would be sort of their spheres of influence. Is that, I assume that's what's behind this initiative. What do you think sort of gets us to this sort of final 70% and beyond that would be a protective level of vaccinations to protect or ward against a variant making its way here again?
Well, as we know, those that wanted vaccine early on did everything they could to get it. It was hard to get. Now we're at that point where we have those remaining individuals that haven't been vaccinated. And, you know, there's not one reason why. There are pregnant women who are concerned about what will be the impact on their unborn child. There are those that still think about Operation Warp Speed and the fact that this is not yet a finally vaccinated or approved vaccine. There are those that are convinced that you'll have more harm to yourself by getting the vaccine. And so I think you have to take on every one of these groups one by one by one and answer the questions. The incredible safety profile. The fact that these will soon be licensed vaccines, fully licensed as any vaccine would be. And I think this is what's actually beginning to help us. Finally, just the data. It's so compelling about the protection among those who are vaccinated and the safety. And I think we're starting to see some melting out here right now of that vaccine hesitancy, not anti-vaccination, but vaccine hesitancy. And I'm actually more confident now that we are going to see these numbers continue to creep up over the weeks and months ahead.
And do you see the vaccines being approved for emergency use for children before the end of the summer?
I do. Well, I shouldn't say end of the summer. I guess it's your definition of when that is. As we've already heard from the companies, they expect to submit information to the FDA for 2-year-olds and older by September. and potentially shortly after that for 6 months to 2-year-olds. I'm optimistic that much of the next school year we will have vaccine for everyone who's going to school and largely for those going to daycare. That too will help us a great deal. And at that point, I think when you start vaccinating your kids, it even becomes more compelling why everyone else in your family should be vaccinated.
Where do you come down on vaccine passports? We have, like many of the stages of the pandemic, a patchwork of different states with very different political philosophies on them. What's the best science on vaccine passports?
Well, let me just take a step back and tell you, here I come from the state of Minnesota, which was the very first state in the country to enlist non-smoking locations in restaurants and bars. And at the time, everyone said, oh my, they're going to go under. They won't be able to sustain themselves. Well, in fact, the 70% of people who didn't smoke didn't go to bars and restaurants because of the smoke. And once those restaurants basically were made non-smoking, there was an overwhelming response, and people flocked to these bars and restaurants. I can tell you, I have talked to many of my friends and colleagues who all said, man, would I love to go to a restaurant or a bar or to a theater or some kind of event where I knew everyone in there had been vaccinated. And not trying to say to people who aren't vaccinated, you know, you have to have a different life. You don't have to get vaccinated. But please make it safe for us to go to these places. And remember, these vaccines are highly effective, 90 to 95% effective. But that's not 100%. So I do want to go to a place where others have also been vaccinated. I think you're going to see more public pressure over time for where that's going to actually happen. You know, people want to go on a cruise. They want to go on a cruise where everybody's been vaccinated. They want to fly in an airplane. They want to be on a plane where everybody's been vaccinated. And I think the 70% who are more who are vaccinated will start to drive public policy in ways we haven't seen happen yet.